Let's talk about the greatest Christmas monster of all time, Krampus. Hey, spooky people, it's your best friend Kenny, and we are back, and it is Christmas season, so we are going to be enjoying Creepy Christmas. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. It is The Spooky Lawyer. If there are any spooky or disturbing stories, holiday related or not, feel free to go ahead and send me an email at thespookylawyer@gmail.com. I will go through them and I will I'll research them and I'll make a video about them. Now, without anything further, let's get spooky. Now, what is Krampus, or who is Krampus? Krampus is a mythical creature with roots in Central American folklore, particularly in Austria, Bavaria, Croatia, the Czech Republic, and Slovenia. He is depicted as a horned, anthropomorphic figure with cloven hooves and a long, pointed tongue. And he serves as a counterbalance to the benevolent St. Nicholas. Krampus punishes misbehaved children during the Advent season. Krampus punishes those children with birch rods. And in some folklore, Krampus might even capture those particularly naughty children and take them away to his lair. Krampus is traditionally celebrated on December 5th, the night before the feast of St. Nicholas, known as Krampusnacht or Krampus Night. It was customary for the demon-like creature to roam the streets, visiting homes and businesses. The next day, December 6th, is St. Nicholas Day, where children find out if they have been rewarded for their good behavior or punished for their misdeeds. Now, it's important to know that in Europe, and particularly Central Europe, Christmas is celebrated a little bit differently than it is here. Here in the United States, Santa comes December 24th or the night of Christmas Eve. That's when kids get their presents. They find out if they've been good or not. In mainland Europe, particularly Central Europe, St. Nicholas Day, December 6th, is typically the day that children get their presents. And there's a variety of other, Christmas traditions that go on. But, the night before is Krampus night. And that's when the naughty children get their not presents. They, instead of getting coal from Santa, they get whipped with tree branches and, taken to some creepy monster's lair. Krampus is believed to have pre-Christian origins with potential connections to ancient pagan mythology and rituals within the Alpine regions. The name Krampus is derived from the German word Krampen, meaning claw, which reflects the creature's fearsome appearances. He's got horns, he's got dark hair, he's got fangs, and he has this long pointed tongue, which is sort of his trademark. He resembles various demonic figures from various different cultural mythologies. Some anthropologists associate Krampus with the wild spirits of nature that featured prominently in pagan traditions. There are links to Norse mythology, specifically with figures like Hild, the goddess of the underworld, suggesting a background in ancient shamanistic traditions. In regions with harsh winter climates, myths often grew around the concepts of death and rebirth. Krampus was part of those solstice rituals, embodying the chaos and harshness of winter months. Now, for all my chaotic people out there, you can appreciate this. Although, I like chaos, but I don't like winter. So maybe I'm not the best example. Some theories suggest that Krampus may have been part of shamanistic practices that celebrate the dark spirits associated with winter. Over time, as these rituals evolved, especially in rural areas, Krampus traditionally took part in parades, often involving revelers donning elaborate masks and costumes. These events, known as Krampuslauf or Krampus Run, have gained popularity and are characterized by participants parading through towns in Krampus costumes, often engaging in banter with spectators. With the spread of Christianity throughout Europe, many pagan traditions were either absorbed or altered to fit within the Christian religious framework. As Christian traditions became more widespread, Krampus was incorporated into the Feast of St. Nicholas, which is celebrated on December 6th. It's sort of interesting that it was not enough for these children to just simply not get presents if they were naughty on St. Nicholas Day, but instead they needed to be punished by the Krampus if they were naughty. The duality of Krampus and St. Nicholas was a tool for moral lessons among children, illustrating the concepts of good and bad behavior and their consequences. This was a particular tangible form for this to happen. During the Middle Ages, Krampus began to appear as a more standardized figure across the Alpine regions, accompanying the benevolent St. Nicholas during annual celebrations. Over time, Krampus became an integral part of Christmas traditions. Starting in the 17th century, the figure of Krampus was prominent in regions that are now Austria, Germany, Hungary, Slovenia, and the Czech Republic. During this time, Krampus became a familiar presence in Christmas cards and holiday imagery. Recently, Krampus has experienced a revival beyond its traditional geographic boundaries. The creature's dark nature has captured the imagination of a global audience. Spooky people have decided that Christmas can be spooky, although European Christmas is pretty spooky anyway. And there's a lot of other spooky Christmas myths in European Christmas. But, in various parts of Europe and North America, Krampus-themed events, parades, and festivals have become increasingly popular, often characterized by participants donning elaborate Krampus costumes, kind of like what used to happen, in the earlier times, the Krampusnacht and the Krampus Run. Krampus has also become more and more featured in films, television, and literature, which has also contributed to its rise in our culture. The allure of Krampus is in its ability to embody the dual fears and delights associated with the holiday season and winter. Krampus offers a counter-narrative to the traditionally joyful Christmas celebrations. Krampus also appears to people who enjoy the darker side of holiday celebrations, often as an alternative to the often saccharine aspects of Christmas. And it's actually not far off to enjoy, darker Christmas traditions or creepy Christmas or whatever you want to call it. There are other creepy Christmas traditions also, like the Yule Cat, for example, which is a cat that devours children from Icelandic culture during Christmas. I got a video on Yule Cat coming too, I promise. The Americanized Christmas that we know is very different from what was traditional Christmas, especially in Europe. So Krampus's rise recently is a fascinating example of how folklore and traditions can evolve and be reinterpreted over time. It's kind of like Festivus, right? It's sort of it's sort of in the same vein as Festivus, from those of you who remember Seinfeld. Some people are tired of Santa, tired of the overly commercialized and sanitized image of Christmas that American Christmas has. Krampus is darker, more rebellious, and humorous. Some people like being bad. Some people like the evil things. And so, Krampus is embracing the dark side of our nature. The people who have a fascination with the macabre. From everyone who's interested in things from horror movies to true crime. Krampus fits right into this trend, offering a slightly scary or, offering a scary figure to explore during the holiday season. And Krampus also has a psychological appeal. as a way to acknowledge and embrace the darker aspects of human nature and the things that, people like. It's okay to like darker things. It's okay to like spooky, scary things. That's why this stuff is so popular. The internet and social media have played a huge role on spreading Krampus with memes, images, stories, plenty of videos online. And there are online communities dedicated to Krampus, allowing fans to connect and share information and celebrate this unique tradition. People have started doing their own Krampus runs, where people dress up as Krampus and parade throughout the towns. People have also thrown Krampus parties and festivals. Krampus-themed parties and festivals, events pop up in your area, around the Christmas time is sort of a fun, different way to sort of celebrate the holiday season. Krampus has also started finding his way back into horror movies. There was a movie in 2015 called Krampus, which sort of reintroduced the character to, horror movie people. And since then, there have been a variety of other Krampus movies, such as Krampus the Reckoning, Krampus Unleashed, and Mother Krampus. Personally, I enjoy Krampus. I think that it's great that it's made its way sort of into our cultural landscape. I'm glad that we can celebrate sort of an alternative to Christmas or a more adult-themed Christmas idea and enjoy it and have it as another part of our layers of Christmas traditions. You can love Santa Claus, you can love candy canes, you can love elves and snowmen and all the happy stuff, and you can also love Krampus. I think it's a great way for people who enjoy, darker things to find a way to enjoy the holiday. Go ahead, make sure that you are following me on Blue Sky and TikTok. My username is AKBrews. Also, make sure you're following me on Twitter. My username there is AKBrews. If there is a spooky, disturbing story you would like me to cover, send me an email at thespookylawyer@gmail.com. Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate your support. It means a lot to me. Go ahead and check out some of the other spooky holiday videos in my spooky holiday playlist. And please make sure that you stay spooky.